This is already rubbish. It's already rubbish. We've got a new thingy and it doesn't work properly. Oh, it's so annoying. Why don't they just make them nice and simple?
We've got a little treat for you.
How are you all?
Morning.
How are we all?
I've just been reading pages of this on my Instagram, and I thought if I read one page and Mark reads one page, and then we can read you another page at the end.
Are we going to should we do that at the start?
Yeah, we'll just read one little page for people coming over through Instagram.
Okay.
So this is a very beautiful...
So if you come for the news, it will come.
This is a very beautiful bedtime story, but look at that lovely child sleeping.
Take it away, Miss Sawalha.
Nestle close to the kittens. The lambs have lain down with the sheep. You're cosy and warm in your bed, my dear. Please go the fuck to sleep.
Oh, that's so sweet, isn't it? It's lovely.
I thought you could read something at the end.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm thinking of reading this story for people to go to bed to on YouTube. I'll do an ASMR.
There's a really appropriate one that's just stuck out to me.
Okay.
We're finally watching our movie. Popcorn's in the microwave. Beep. Oh shit, god damn it. You've got to be kidding. Come on, go the fuck back to sleep. There you go.
Oh, I love that book.
How are we all this fair morning in this sort of slightly cataclysmic scenario? We are taking a tone of brevity, not because we are not plugged in, but because we are trying to distract, disarm, and dissuade people from hurtling themselves down cliff sides. So,
yeah, so it's half an hour of the news, but there's some bit of chat and a bit of fun included because at the moment, let's face it, it's actually really hard to actually look out at the world, to be honest.
It's very hard to stay positive, actually. And I would say that, I tell you who I'm staggeringly impressed by, how they're just sort of like fixed rod, just moving through it, as the girls at the moment.
Yeah.
But as a parent, one has to be very on top of where they're at without over cramping them, and that is definitely going to be what our new Confessions of a Modern Parent starts again next week. We're going to be talking about how the hell do you sell a third lockdown to a teenager.
Denise Nelson is saying, please cheer me up, I just can't bear the world. I know. Yeah. We hear you, we feel it, it's
and really
very
lots
tough.
of you have been commenting on the fact that you've watched the first Cornish tape landed last night, and that's precisely what that was about, was distracting, and you seem to be enjoying it, you seem to all be loving it, you seem to be having a cracking old time, so we're really pleased.
The thing is, if you've just joined this channel, because I know lots of you just came over from Instagram, we do this coffee moaning every morning, but we also do lots of other stuff. Gardening, mental health films, all sorts of things. But we also do our vlogs, which are family reality show. And last summer we went to Cornwall. We made a bit of a mistake. We hadn't understood something, so we didn't post them because we didn't think it was appropriate.
We didn't go in lockdown.
For years and years, oh no, we didn't go in lockdown. For years and years, I used to do a show every January called Passport to the Sun. I know quite a few of you used to watch it. And it went out every January. And the reason for that was, the BBC did their research and it was absolute, because I always said, do you think it's a good idea to put it out in January? Or you used to say it every year, I mean, it's so miserable. And they said, no, absolutely. All their research shows that actually people like to take a little break, a little moment away from the horrors of January. So we had a big family discussion about it and Nanny Di played a big part. And we decided, yes, it was hopefully the right decision to put it out, to give everybody a bit of a break from the relentless greyness. And so we're really, really chuffed. We read all your comments last night and we're really, really chuffed that it seems to be what you wanted and most of you, 99% of you are really enjoying it. So we're chuffed. We made the right decision. So, hello Zoe Andrews, been for my walk and deep breathing happen now to do household chores. Oh my God, that deep breathing and that walking is just the best. I have to say, and this will lead us on quite nicely to the story about the two women, I am absolutely desperate to get out of our packed parks. Is anybody else experiencing that at the moment? Yeah. Where, maybe again because it's London, we're so densely populated in London, but going to the park now feels like a dangerous activity. I actually said to Mark this morning, I'm going with my mask. I'm going for my run today with an effing mask on because there doesn't seem to be anywhere you can be without people.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think, did we talk about this? I think we did talk about it on maybe the members' live, where we were wondering and discussing the fact that you know, although these obviously going to the park's a good thing, you know, is it necessarily wise that so many people are all going in in the same spot? So I mean, I do feel that. I do feel a sense of. I don't feel particularly safe running in the park.
No.
Which is
very
frustrating.
Yeah.
And also, I have to say, I'm a runner, so I'm a big advocate of runners. And a number of the runners I've come across in the park when I'm walking or running seem very angry. They do seem very angry with pedestrians.
It's because everybody's in everybody's way.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you are living out of the city, I would say to you, you have something that we are yearning for so desperately. So, gratitude is really helping at the moment. I just try and find little moments of what am I grateful for? And actually, if you're able to get out into the countryside, if you're able to walk by the sea, oh my God.
You lead me to my first story, though.
I love you.
Because I think that's all that these two people thought. Jessica Allen and Eliza Moore. Did anyone see their story yesterday? Jessica Allen and Eliza Moore in Derbyshire. They drove, I think, 5 miles to have a socially distanced walk together, holding a Starbucks coffee each. And a police force has come under criticism for what people are saying were its intimidating approach to 2 walkers. And they've were fined £200 each. Now, I believe they've dialed back from this, haven't they? I think they've kind of reconsidered whether they should fine them or not, and perhaps feel that they were over dramatic and over draconian in their punishment of these women.
Well, I mean, it's hilarious for us being in London, absolutely hilarious, because look at that. I mean, go to our local park, police, if you've got time, because
if you want quick fines to issue, I'm not suggesting for a minute that is what they want, but I mean, if you're wanting to get people doing the thing in close proximity, just go to most parks. These two.
I just think it's weird one this, because I do think we need to do something as a matter of urgency about the very weak rules that we've got that are being well, I mean, London, you just wouldn't think that anyone's, I mean, when you look around, it's just like everybody seems to be doing whatever they want, but I think there's a lot of grey area that people are playing with. I don't think that's the case with those 2 women. I think they drove to a completely deserted spot and had a nice walk. I do actually feel sorry for them.
I mean, MeTube makes an interesting point. We've gone from 1 in 900 to 1 in 30. In parts of London, it's 1 in 15. It's gone up again from yesterday. I was listening to Sadiq Khan on the radio yesterday when he made the announcement about London's sort of, declaring a state of emergency in the NHS. And I looked at the detailed charts of the various NHS trusts in the London area. And you know what? It makes for really sort of sobering viewing and reading for those morons who are going into hospitals and trying to take photographs of deserted corridors, or even a sort of well-managed A&E department or a well-managed ICU department to try and pretend that there isn't a crisis going on. I think someone said, I think it might have been Sadiq Khan, people who do that have blood on their hands.
I do.
Because they're trying to promote a false narrative. And, some of the, I mean, of the vast majority, or something like 16 of the 23 whatever NHS trusts have gone over the buffer zone. They all need a buffer zone of approximately, I think, 8% or 12%, between 8 and 12%. They are all way over that. They're all way over that, So that, so this idea that it's a fiction, a fraud, a myth, and yet you're right, MeTube. We've gone up from 1 in 900 to 1 in 30 in just 4 months. The numbers are terrible, the deaths. And yet, okay, so we had the worst number of deaths yesterday. I'm trying to find some positivity in all of this. So we had the worst number of deaths ever in the crisis yesterday. But we have to moderate that terrible news with the fact that we have so many more people clearly infected than they were before. So, the
ratios.
The ability of this thing to kill people hasn't got worse. I mean, there's a lot of
that's
people,
a really important thing, actually,
because
because that's what I was really feeling and thinking yesterday.
Yeah, and that's how it begins to feel sometimes. You feel like you're under siege.
Yeah.
And, you know, sobering details, other sobering details that kind of make you less cross with just our government is that Germany have also had one of their, I think they were over 1,000, was it, for the
God
first
bless
time
them.
yesterday? And they, you know, they've had, you know, we often look to Germany as a kind of example of kind of really, really responsible.
To be honest, I've been quite jealous of Germany at some points.
Well, they, you know, they too are going through an
How they've
absolute
been managing.
hellhole. The other part of the whole story that I found fascinating
It
is
is the highest month for deaths anyway, isn't it, in January? It is anyway. So we are going to have some people that are dying and are going to be marked as COVID, but they've got other things, and they've also got COVID. So, I mean, that's not to undermine that we were in a perilous state, and we have to be so mindful. I mean, I'm not kidding, guys. When I went to work yesterday, it's my first time to work after Christmas, and you know, I'm in a really lucky position. I go to a studio, we're all really looked after, everything is, you know, it's not like having to go to work in a hospital or a supermarket or a school. And I just kept thinking that all day. I was thinking of you guys, actually. I was thinking, oh my God, I feel really scared. But at the same time, I was thinking, how dare I? How dare I with what people are putting up with every single day? But I did. I'm not going to lie to you. I felt scared. I felt London. It feels like, I spoke to Kay actually after the show, and she's always really sad that she's not in the studio. And I said, you know, though we were having a great time in the studio yesterday, I was looking at you at points and I had this like irrational like jealousy that you were sitting in the safety of your home doing the show, because, I mean, I just kept pushing it out of my mind. And I don't know how many of you are Londoners, but at the moment it feels very scary being in London. I mean, it really does, doesn't it?
And I think
we're just having it pumped at us the whole time.
And I think the important point to make is like when I mentioned something about London yesterday on something, someone said we're all going through it. You know, where the country isn't at the level that London's at, the hope with this lockdown is that the rest of the country doesn't have to go through that.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
don't
and
want that.
Parts of the country have already gone through these awful peaks, you know. And we just don't want this new strain.
Well, we've not had
to
as
run
bad
ragged.
as this peak.
No, we
not
haven't.
1 in 15.
No one's had 1 in 15.
Nowhere.
So I think there's we're kind of justified to feel a little bit kind of more concerned. I mean,
Can
like I said to
see how
Nadia,
many
if you
people live in London?
were to
Tell
get
me
on a
if
bus, if you were to get on a bus today with the numbers as they are, and you had about 30 people, you know, it's safe to say on a normally filled bus, you would have about 5 to 10 people who were Bromley. Yeah, there's quite a few people who.
Can you just say
Becca
London?
Hawkins.
Yeah.
Gabrielle says we
Leggy
need a
Blonde,
curfew so
London.
people are more scared to break the rules. The traffic
Yeah.
is still busy again. I agree. I entirely
Yeah,
agree.
we've had LBC and Sky on all morning, and that's what keeps coming up. You know, very reluctantly people are saying, "Oh God, I don't want to say this. I really don't want to say." You know, scientists, but look at the numbers. You know, we are in a worse state than we were in April, and yet the lockdown is much more wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And the latest scientist we were listening to on LBC was saying, you know, it's not really the people's fault, it's the rules. The rules aren't clear. And they were very clear in lockdown before. I mean, the fact that we've got so many takeaway coffee shops and everything in London open, I think that's spreading.
And the other
McDonald's, you can go into McDonald's and wait for a takeaway.
I mean,
There's
there are
big
all
queues
these
in McDonald's
microscopic details that you are allowed to do.
that we weren't doing before.
That we weren't doing before. And I mean, a sobering statistic yesterday is the fact that the equivalent of an entire St Thomas's hospital is going into our NHS service, is being taken into hospital every day. Another 800 people every day.
Bertie's in London.
So, you know, there's that. But also the other detail, which a number of people were mentioning yesterday, and I looked into this, and this is true. Schools and a lot of teachers and headmasters are complaining about the fact that there are 50% more children in school in this lockdown under the key workers concept and vulnerable than there were the first time around. Now, there are two ways of looking at that statistic. There's two ways of looking at that statistic. There's two ways of looking at that statistic. It was too draconian at the beginning and too many vulnerable children were left out, and this is more appropriate. Or this is just more people trying to kind of bend the rules and get around the back to get their kids into school. But I think, you know, the idea that our schools are now not spreading or potentially spreading, especially with early years being open still, isn't necessarily true.
Dina was saying to me that both parents have to be key workers.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there wriggle room on take that fuck the rules, just stay home and only go out when you need to? We don't need rules. We know how bad it is. Just use your common sense.
Well, yeah, take that. But unfortunately, there's lots of people that don't use their common sense.
I mean, I have to
That's the
confess, I
problem.
mean, I think yesterday when I went to the park, I felt it felt quieter on the roads.
Well, it only took me 45 minutes to get into work. That never happens. But you know, New Year's Eve, Maddie was showing us all sorts of stuff that was going on in Snapchat across the country because, you know, and we were just gobsmacked, weren't we, at the parties?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And we've not got the New Year's Eve lot yet. This is just Christmas.
Well, yeah, the New Year's, I think the New
When will
Year's,
that hit?
well, what are we today? What date we did? 9th. Well, that'll start to come through this week, I think. So you could, again, looking optimistically, we could be at the end of next week looking at a real downturn.
Yeah.
We
really could.
In the terrible numbers, though I think they are
And the
talking about the
Standard
fact that they're going to
yesterday,
plateau.
they think it's peaking now.
Yeah.
I mean, so I hung on to that.
Yeah. So do we need, so can I just ask you guys, do you think we all need a tougher lockdown, yes or no? Do you think we need a tougher lockdown, yes or no?
Just a big yes
Big
or
yes
no.
or a big
Really
no?
interested to see if people... No. Yes. Mostly yes, some no.
Joanne
So
Clements,
Joanne
no.
Clement. So the people that have said
Jenny
no,
Ward, no.
people that have said no, can you just, I'm really interested to hear but the people that don't think we should, why do you think we shouldn't?
Ellen Jones, can it be tougher? How could it be tougher? Well, it could be tougher in that you have to, like in France, have paperwork.
This
to
is what they're now talking
justify
about, yeah.
why you're out. You could have drive-throughs and more non-essential shops closed. I mean, one of the rules that I think could easily be
Coffee shops
introduced,
about-
which would be a headache beyond all headaches, is when supermarkets had a policy on limiting how many
Yeah.
people could go in.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we need to go back to what we were doing in April, which was,
Yeah.
limits into the supermarket, takeaways closed. You could still be delivered to, but you can't go into because they're super spreaders. I mean, I don't know what it's like out of London, but driving around our area, all the takeaway, the chicken shops, all of that, they're packed.
David Miliband was on the radio yesterday. Oh, dear David Miliband, such a shame we lost him to America. David Miliband was on the radio
Shame so
yesterday.
many people voted for his brother thinking they were voting for him.
David Miliband was talking about the attitude in New York. Oh, this is a stark statistic, this. So the WHO doesn't recommend it, but says that, you know, you're aiming for 5%, 5% transmission is the max you want to be at. 5% transmission, you know, within your population is what you...
To be able to control
Well,
it.
you want to be below that. If 5% isn't good, you want to be below that. So New York is at 7%. And David Miliband came on and said, you're going to be shocked to hear that on the WHO's, calculations, the UK or London is at London specifically is at 27%. Compare that to 5, which is the target, 27%.
No, when you gave me that stat yesterday.
Yeah, it's quite a shocking...
As I was on my way home,
quite a
I was
shocking
thinking, oh my
statistic.
God, I'm going to have it by the time I get home.
But then David Miliband because obviously he's now a resident of New York, he gave a really interesting insight to New York. And I know New Yorkers, if we've got any here, New Yorkers are fastidious when, you know, about all sorts of things, you know, whether it be like the cold, they can be very sort of, you know, on top of things when they really need to be after, especially with 9/11 in their history and everything like that. And what's happening in New York now is a really, really strident civic kind of, he was running in Central Park, he said, and his mask just momentarily slipped beneath his nose. So people are wearing masks when running there. There's a thought. People are wearing masks when they're outside and on the sidewalks. There's a thought. And I want to ask you what you think about that. But he said that people very politely but firmly say to him if his mask slips down, your mask isn't covering your nose. And so
Can you imagine
there's a
doing
shared
that in London?
Well,
Jesus
you might
Christ.
get stabbed.
You get stabbed.
What do you think about wearing masks in the street?
I would never say to any person to put on a mask. I'd be too scared in London.
No,
I
but
really
what do
would.
you think about our responsibilities? Do you think we should be wearing masks as we walk around
Well,
the street?
the thing is, again,
Look.
thinking of Take Thatter, who's calling for people to just use their common sense. I think you're right. My common sense is telling me that people are breathing out
God, I wonder
really
what the hell happened
heavily as they pass me, and I feel uncomfortable with it. And why is that? Because we've been told that this has a much heavier viral load, this virus, and that it's highly, highly contagious. So really, the answer is there, isn't it? Put a bloody mask on. Unless you're going like those poor women who obviously went to look for somewhere to walk where there weren't hundreds of other people.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I'm in the park and someone walks past with one of those vaping things or a cigarette, It's always intrigues me
Ooh.
but it
Does
intrigues
it
me
hang
how
on it?
far they can be from you before you get a sense of someone smoking something. Now, it's a simple question. If I can smell the smoke from their vaping or their cigarette from that distance,
can I smell their virus?
Am I imbibing their virus? Now, and apparently the new variant, the Kent variant, is 50 times more concentrated in the nose and in the mouth. That's why it's more
That's why
contagious.
I want to, and that's why I'm going to make the
So do
decision
you
without
think-
any law makers telling me.
Izzy!
Izzy!
We have someone here called Sawalha-Adderleys as well, so I often think it's you, and then I go, oh, it's not. But Izzy, I hope you're well. My God, we love
It's
your...
my stepdaughter, Izzy.
We did you do a post about...
I did a post about it. Let me show everybody, actually.
Izzy
while
says,
is here.
could more children be in schools because more people are considered key workers, as more people are being forced to keep going to work, aka construction industry? I think you're absolutely right, Izzy. I think you're absolutely right.
Izzy has told, because Izzy has worked
Izzy
in
is in the
construction, that
construction
it's
industry.
really hard, because it's always like, everyone stay at home except construction. It's really hard.
Well, Nanny
They're not given the
Di
choice.
says that because Tower Hamlets is one of the highest rates, and Nanny Di says...
When Nanny dies.
Well, Nanny dies. But Nanny Di says all the people she sees in she said all the chicken shops are open, all the coffee shops are open, all these kind of places are open just on her street. And she said the only people in them are construction workers. So through no fault of their own, could this be a sector that inadvertently, the footfall is just moving stuff around? My worry around the construction industry, and I don't know what you think about this, Izzy, not so much the construction work that you do, Izzy, but so much construction in London is directly tied into the capitalist money-making thing. And when I heard Sadiq Khan even say, well, actually construction, there's always an exception, but could that exception be our weak link?
Could it be our Achilles heel?
Yeah. Look at this.
Izzy, I got my beautiful bag.
Oh my God.
But Izzy, you might have seen this on my Instagram story. Look at this beautiful vintage fabric. She's patchworked all that.
Handmade.
And I love that.
And designed.
Look.
I love that.
Please follow her on Instagram.
Noon
She's just started up.
_awake, I think.
Literally 3 days ago, her little business. And your support.
Yeah. Noon_awake.
We feel emotional because over 1,000 people are now following her. So if you could too, that'd be amazing.
And I just think she posted a lovely little Insta story the other day, and she said for small business owners like your sister and Izzy and Donna and what have you, is like whenever a purchase happens, there's a real person doing that. I loved it.
So excited.
Yeah.
That's why I love supporting small businesses, because we get such a buzz out of it, don't we?
So
Seeing
lovely.
people's numbers grow and seeing them get excited about. Do we need to plug that in?
No, fine.
And it's so lovely when you follow somebody who's just starting a business and you're part of that growth. It's less money to Amazon. That's what we all need to do.
Which is all good. So, I mean, the big news today obviously surrounds... I mean, I usually feel I can tell when things are good. I think we may get an announcement from Boris in the next couple of days telling us that things are going to get a bit tighter.
Well, because he'll obviously be too late again in a couple of days.
Yeah.
We've had Sadiq Khan almost in tears. We've got doctors and nurses begging us. We've got scientists pleading, but he's going to leave it another couple of days.
Yeah.
Jesus.
As someone quite rightly says that Amazon does also have small independent
It does actually.
businesses.
Yeah,
So
thank
that's
you for
very true.
reminding me of that.
As does eBay, as does Etsy, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's not just the big
That's very
faceless
true.
corporate.
Yeah, so if you're shopping on Amazon, try and look for those smaller businesses.
Good point. Now, of course, the story in America is the biggest story probably of the week. And the biggest story of the week is that Trump has had his Twitter account permanently removed. I just want to be a fly on the wall in whatever room he's in.
Well, they say he's raging. Because yesterday he posted again on the White House Twitter account, and Twitter removed it, because the brilliant thing is that he is actually banned from Twitter, not his account.
Yeah.
So he can't tweet from anywhere.
So even his posts on the, like you said, on the official
and we
White
were
House.
watching CNN last night, and they were saying that there's a very long document from Twitter explaining why they've done what they've done, and within that document they talked about there's a growing sense that there's going to be another attack, possibly on the 17th of January, and this is why they thought it was so important to remove him.
I don't think we've seen the end of agitation. People are rightly saying, news is just breaking that an Indonesian flight has vanished. Or literally fallen from the sky. It was at 10,000 feet.
Oh no!
It's just disappeared. It's got 50 people on board. This is a story that's just breaking on Sky News, I think.
God, that's horrendous.
Yeah, search and rescue operation in Indonesia after contact lost with Boeing 737. Isn't that the same bloody make of plane that Indonesian Transport Ministry said the Sriwijaya air flight was flying from the capital? Could have been to Jakarta. Management
I've been
was
to
still
Jakarta.
Yeah. It's,
Good God, oh, how horrendous.
So, God, that's literally happening as we speak. I'm slightly staggered. I mean, I saw a plane in the sky the other day, and I was thinking, who's flying where at the moment? But I mean, obviously, there's
You know
essential
that
flight
I
happening.
love John Campbell, and I mean, he's just beside himself. He said, you know, we've got to stop flying. What do you think?
So obviously our thoughts go out to all of the family and relatives of the people on that
Absolutely
flight. So
horrific.
that's a developing news story. But
Separately of that, and thinking about a virus and the fact that different countries are making their own mutations, does it not make sense to just ground the world again like we did in the first lockdown? I mean, it's worse than the first lockdown. There were no flights.
Tell us what John Campbell was saying, because he sounded very downbeat. All I heard from you last night before I went to sleep was no sweet nothings, just you going, oh no.
Well, it wasn't very good news.
No, but what was he saying? That our reaction and our response isn't quick enough, is that right?
First of all, this idea of 72 hours, having to provide a COVID test 72 hours before you fly, he said it's too long. He said, really, you need to get a negative test and then fly, because if you've got 72 hours, that's 72 hours you can get infected. And also, he's very, very frustrated with how slowly the government are moving on banning flights from South Africa, because this variant in South Africa, we don't want it seeded right across the country.
Richard Coulter, can I just say, Richard Coulter, I have been saying this from the get-go. So many people put up opposition to this stopping of flights, going, it's not feasible, it's not manageable, it's not practicable. We have a gift in our island nature. It is one of the few advantages.
Well, John Campbell said we could have been, when people like him and other scientists were calling for the flights to stop, we could have been in the state now that New Zealand are in.
Yeah, so I'm with you, Richard Coulter. Don't allow anyone to enter or leave until mid-Feb. Get the army in to vaccinate everyone.
Exactly.
Lockdown. Could we not be done? Could we not all be buying each other Easter eggs? Could we not be in the streets again by bloody April?
Who agrees with that or disagrees with that?
Who thinks that could work?
Who thinks that sounds like a good idea?
No flights, please. No flights, please. We're British. I agree. Yes, everyone agrees.
We should be using the fact that we're an island. We really should. We are so lucky.
Okay, I want to ask.
Look, every single person agrees with that.
I love it when you go nuts like this. I want to ask another sort of binary question. Do you think? Let's assume that the vaccine rollout. It's really
good the way they tell us what they think.
Do you think, guys, let's assume Boris hits the vaccine rollout. Do you think the vaccine rollout, if rolled out at the pace that they're saying, will change the narrative? Are we going to see numbers come down? Are things going to get dramatically better with the vaccine rollout? Do you see it as a simple solution that's going to work? Yes or no?
Sorry, I didn't hear. I was reading.
Sorry, it's fine.
What did you say?
I said, do people think that the vaccine rollout is going to, say it works, say they hit all their targets, is it going to be the solution we all think it's going to be? And interestingly, I would say there's a slight majority, probably 55% saying no.
I think
we all hope so.
I think we're all battered a bit with hope, aren't we? We're slightly in that place where we go, I'm not going to hope for anything. Well, I know the rest of my family are. I'm not. I have to have hope. Otherwise, I go to pieces.
What do you mean the rest of your family?
Well, you guys are all pretty downbeat about it.
No. I think we all shift and we all pivot. Yeah. We pivot on a daily basis. I mean, the thing I find difficult to cope with is bad news when is heightened bad news when the information isn't that stark. And I also think false hope can be as damaging as overt bad news. Overly sold bad news. I think trying to remain realistic is the most important part of this whole crisis. I also think managing your news flow. Nanny Di said this to me a couple of days ago. She said, I saw somewhere, I said it was the WHO mom, saying that the best thing you can do is limit the news flow that you receive. Pick up the news at one point a day. I mean, some people obviously come here. That's why we try and balance out our sort of analysis a little bit. We do need hope. But also, if you create so much hope and then you have that disappointment that crashes in, that can sometimes really drop people from a high height, because they're like, hang on, I'm disorientated. I thought this was the solution. Yeah. The Dark Knight Detectorists, next year before we can go back to any kind of normality. See, my feeling about all of this is that we are gonna make huge strides and progress by spring. I think there's going to be a natural pause like there was last year as well, but there's going to be a combination of vaccine success, seasonal change, and we are all going to have a relinquishing of things as we go into the summer. But it's what happens in October and November that worries me again. Izzy, you're also allowed to travel across the country due to work. So in construction, you could work in different sites across the country, and that's still illegal. Yeah.
See, that's the other question, crossing counties. I mean, we're not supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
Why aren't we using the 5-minute tests at airports like Germany are, Sam and Daisy? Well, I think this is what John Campbell was saying. This 72 hours is just crazy. And again, you know, the countries that are using dogs, we should really ratcheting that up, because they're a really good source.
Absolutely. Oh, Izzy, it's lovely to have you here, darling. I'm so proud of what you're doing. You know, so many people are trying to pivot and innovate, you know, in lockdown, and find ways of kind of generating, you know, new
Anubis
revenue
Finch.
streams. So good.
How are you?
Anubis Finch, hello.
Anubis. I love his name. I'll probably never say it right, but I love it.
Tia Deacon, Love Islanders are fucking off to Dubai. It's a disgrace. Sarah Holland got caught going back to the UK with a positive boyfriend. Meanwhile, Dr. Alice has been working the entire pandemic. Very true. Very true. What's happening with
And he
Sarah
lost
Holland?
his brother.
Oh, I know.
In the middle
Tragic.
of it all. He spent Christmas by... He's such a good guy.
Yeah.
I really feel for him.
Alison Baxter, I think we have another year of... Now, you know, so for example, Alison Baxter, I think we have another year of restrictions before we are
But
anywhere
not
near
to this
normality.
level.
No, nowhere near to this level. And I think it's really important. I think moving forward, we have to do what New Zealand have done and various other countries have done, which is take full control of our borders, ride it where we need to ride it. If there are little kind of peaks that come from places, close down transportation. I mean, you know, for example, the South African variant, we stopped direct travel, but we didn't stop indirect travel. So people were coming back from South Africa via Dubai. I mean, that's not rocket science, is it?
That's what's so... Don't, because it really scares me. I don't want to think about that. Sam JP, got my results, whole family negative, so relieved, was scared to death of my husband and kids. Got to day 9 sobriety, God knows how, been
Well
so stressed
done,
out.
Sam JP.
Now, Sam JP, I think you were the one who was talking about the other day, I think, if I'm right, how frustrating you were finding it on Facebook. There was a lot of chat around, homeschooling, I'm going to be on the wine by 10 a.m. and that you were finding that quite triggering and scary. So well done that you're working through that.
Amazing.
And remember, doing the pandemic and homeschooling on a hangover is the worst thing imaginable, because to feel physically fucked, to have a headache, to feel exhausted, to have all of that on top of all this stress. So good for you. One day at a time, you're making the best decision for you and your family.
And another shout out.
Lee,
I was just
Lee.
about to say to Lee, 2 things I want to comment on here. Lee, you know, the other thing, which is what we try to do here, is that other people are trying to do in lockdown, is they're making stuff, but they're also generating content. Follow Lee Peart. He's someone else who, again, is pivoting in lockdown. He's entertaining, he's funny, he's intelligent, he's witty. And I think we destroyed your quiz the other night with sheer smut, so I do apologise. But Claire Mallin, of course I can say hello to Joshua Swift, your autistic son. Joshua loves you. Oh, bless.
Hello, Joshua.
Joshua Swift.
Hello, Joshua.
I love you too,
Hello,
son.
Joshua. Joshua.
Joshua.
Joshua. Joshua. Joshua. Joshua. Wah, wah.
Do you want an orange, Joshua? Joshua Swift, lots of love.
But Lee, I think when we talk about restrictions, it's not like restrictions that we're going through now, but
No.
we've got to be realistic here. We're not going to suddenly all be running around naked in daisies, spitting
Shit,
on
why
each
not?
other. We're not going to be allowed to spit on each other for quite
Really?
a while.
Can I lick your forehead?
Lee, your ears would have been ringing yesterday at Loose Women. We were all talking about you in the studio. We were saying how smart you are, how funny you are, how much we miss you. Stacey was saying how much she missed you. Kaya was, I was. Judy was saying what a brilliant comedian you are. We were saying, everyone, production, everyone was saying how much we miss the audience.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, your ears should have been ringing. We were talking about you for quite a long time.
He's over 3,000 subscribers. Let's get you to 4,000 by the end of this lockdown.
Oh, come on.
Yeah?
We can do this,
Let's do
guys.
this.
Please help my friend
Me.
Lee Peart,
Lee
who
Peart.
was suddenly just thrown out of his flat, his job,
Yeah.
everything with this pandemic. So
And there's
great.
Izzy's noon Moon_awake. She's at 1,200. Come on, guys, try and get her to 2,000 followers by the end of this weekend even.
Yay!
And MeTube, I love this. On the plus side, handshakes will be a thing. I fucking hate a handshake.
So
Except
weird.
when I do them, I really hate a limp handshake.
Yeah.
I don't like a Donald Trump punishing handshake.
Stacey and I, because Stacey and I are big cuddlers, so we both hadn't seen each other since Christmas, obviously, and so we just ran towards each other and then stopped dead automatically with a 2 meter distance.
Did you?
Oh. Yeah, and actually, one of the production crew was telling us that she'd been working on the Martin. Oh God, what's his name? The Martin. He saves everyone money. What's his name?
Oh, Martin. Yeah, I know who you mean. The
What's
guy
his
Money
name?
Supermarket. Martin Rogerson? Lewis.
Martin Lewis show.
Rogerson.
And she'd been working on it, and all the crew had these bands on,
Oh,
so that if you get closer than 2 meters, it buzzes.
wow. That's straight out of that film Logan's Run. Do you remember?
Yes.
Do you remember Logan's Run, where they'd have
Yeah.
a thing? I mean, Nanny Thelma used to always
Actually,
say,
I love that film.
"Do you know what, Mark? I wish it was like Logan's Run, and I wish I had a band on my wrist, and when I wanted to die, I just pressed it, and that was it." So it's what we need. It's what we need. I feel handshakes feel so false. Yeah, no, I agree. Can you spell Izzy's business, please? Noon, NOON_awake, OWAKE.
Why is it called that, Izzy?
Like awake. She said to me the other day. It's about it being a palindrome.
Right.
I need to dig it out. I need to find it.
Maybe
maybe
you
you're
can
here.
tell us
Maybe
now.
you could explain to everyone again, Izzy. Val Goddard's already am a
Mark,
follower of Lee. He's
Chris
great.
Gillick says maybe you need to use the same
I
software
want to
as
use
Lee
the same
uses
software
for the
as Lee.
lives.
I want to use the same software as Lee. Absolutely.
You can flick up comments up and
I know,
the
it's
top.
brilliant. It's so
really
good.
We need a little lesson
It's
from
especially
Lee.
brilliant for kind of, talking to other people outside.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's what I'm planning to get John Campbell on a date.
Yeah. Are you going to do him whilst you're in bed?
I want to do him like Lee does people.
Beg your pardon.
Well, you know what I mean.
I think I do.
Have him up there with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
I
Kerry J. Williams. I have Asperger's. I never know how to pronounce it, but hated being hugged, but I do miss my best friend.
Oh,
Kerry,
sweetheart.
darling.
Listen, on that, where is oh my God, who's our follower of my? Honestly, my brain isn't working.
Are you
today
all
at
right?
all.
You called
Tom
Hardy, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Louise Jones, spark of joy. My daughter Megan, Monster Mash, I'd like to know, but Megan, who works in care home, is having the vaccine today, and now she gets tested every day with a rapid and once a week a test they send off. I'm so pleased.
Wow.
You're talking about Jodie.
Yeah, where's Jodie?
Yeah.
Has anyone seen Jodie?
Well, no one can see anyone.
No, but has
do you mean
anyone
online?
seen her anywhere? Is
Yeah.
she all right?
Yeah.
Because she used to be on here every day, and we haven't seen her for ages.
Time for a rhyme, personalised poetry. Kirsty Wilson. Can everyone follow me? It would make me happy as can be. I can write a rhyme to cheer people up in this awful time.
Oh,
bless.
please
She really
follow.
can.
Time
She does
for
some
a
brilliant
rhyme,
things. I think
personalised
I've posted
poetry.
a couple of things by you on Insta stories. Guys, I know you guys have been wondering about unmasked joggers in the park. I did some research in medical papers and found that viral load can be suspended behind them even more than 9 meters.
No!
Tara Fitzgerald. 9 meters.
So you can run into it.
Christ almighty.
But why isn't that being told?
Christ
We've got to
almighty.
find somewhere to run, Mark, where there isn't any other fucking runners.
I know. I
hate other runners.
know.
But I felt that, you see. I spent most of the time running in the road the other day just to avoid people.
No, I know.
Where can we go where there aren't other people?
I know.
If 1 in 15 people have got it in London, we need to.
I know. Just trying to
Anywho,
find,
guys, we have to go off because I'm going to go and make a chocolate fudge cake.
chocolate fudge cake. Oh, what for the Sunday?
I've never
show?
made a chocolate fudge
Ooh.
cake, so I think I'm going to make a chocolate fudge cake.
Oh,
How about that? Or maybe a steamed chocolate pudding. Something chocolatey.
chocolatey and steamed and lovely. Sounds great.
Hmm.
Lots of love, guys. Stay safe and who knows? Oh, 8 o'clock tonight. 8 o'clock tonight. Homeschool chat. Nearly forgot.
Oh, what time
8
is
o'clock-
Zendaya, though?
8 o'clock. It's at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
8 o'clock. We have a Netflix premiere that we're invited to tonight. At
I
9.
know we're going to a
So at
premiere,
8
but in the
o'clock-
house.
At 8 o'clock for half an hour, we will be doing a little chinwag about homeschooling, how to get through the next few weeks. Oh, God. Ugh, but lesser. That's
So
cheeky.
don't come to it unless you're interested in homeschooling, because we won't be discussing anything other than homeschooling, so that it's a really sort of condensed half hour.
All right, guys.
What else was I going to say? For those of you that might have missed
Oh, Gabrielle, thank you. I've just ordered a makeup bag from Izzy. That's brilliant.
Oh, have you? Gabrielle? Oh, thank you.
It is Malcolm
isn't
and
that
Marie
lovely?
Reese Roberts. I say that's lovely. It is lovely. That's just great. It just makes me want to wet myself with joy.
And for those of you that missed the family guest live the other night, you'll have missed the fact that Mark is going to be doing once a week.
Oh, this is a new
Mark
slot on the
cooks,
members
won't
area.
cook. So I'll be filming him
idea.
live and he'll be cooking. Because we've always said we will never do anything in the family guest area that we do on the main channel. We'll never steal from the main channel. So that's a totally new thing that will be an extra in the family guest area.
So me making a tit myself in the kitchen.
Yeah.
When's Mark's cooking? Steph Schultz is asking.
That's up to Mark. I don't know what day works.
Won't
best
have
for him.
gone. Someone had a very good. Who it was? I think it was Marcia Tom said, "Should we call it Gas Mark 5?" Maybe I'll put a thing on the community page. You could come up with other titles. We like that. Gas Mark 5. I think
And
it sounds like an instruction though, which isn't good.
And on the main channel, I'm going to be we're doing a whole series of, we were really caught by how much people loved that. I don't know if anybody saw it on Facebook. A woman had written up a weekly menu planner of what she cooks for her family. So we thought what we'd do is a series of how to cook dinner in under 10, maybe 15 minutes. I
Yeah.
don't know. I've got to look at it. And it will genuinely be, we'll shoot it as live so that you can see that it actually takes that time, because I think there's been a lot of books out where they say 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and actually everything's been peeled, everything's been chopped, and that's no good. We really need to know we can get dinner on the table in under 15 minutes. So that's going to be a new content for you on the main channel.
Storm Bolters Rock has suggested that maybe make a tit of yourself in the kitchen. New book.
Maybe that's what we'll call
The
it.
Kitchen Twat. I'm up for it. I'm not proud.
So guys,
Oh, new member alert. Just saved by the bell. Gillian Holbrook is going to...
Gillian Holbrook, Gillian Holbrook,
Brooke.
Gillian Holbrook, Brook.
I love the way Nadia
Brooke,
repeats
Brooke,
names so she
Gillian
doesn't lose
Holbrook.
them.
La la la
La,
la
la,
la
la,
la
la,
la 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 la. Actually,
Gillian
Lee,
Holbrook.
we need more singing from you on your YouTube channel,
Yeah, I
because
hear
he's
he's
a
a great
really
singer.
good singer.
Yeah.
And he makes me laugh. Lee. Oh, now when I was at Loose Women
So
and
she
Lee
started
was a warm
singing,
up.
Sophie Walsh says, right, I'm off to go do my trampoline.
When Lee and I were both working together at Loose Women, we used to do jukebox dressing room, where we'd open the door to my dressing room and he would just sing a song. Why don't we have a go at it live on your channel, Lee?
Ooh.
Jukebox
Ooh.
dressing room, but it's just, it could be from my dressing room,
Yeah.
upstairs.
Yeah.
I'll
that's a
call
good
you,
idea.
we'll talk about it. I think it's a new fun series
It's a
we
great
can do
idea.
on your
It's a
channel.
great idea. Hit the thumbs up, guys, if you've had fun here. Keep your eyes peeled, because Nanny Di is in charge of the Cornish tapes, and she's letting them out very fastidiously. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yes,
but
you
there
can,
is a
Sandra
Cornish
Riley.
vlog up for the rest of today. All right, lovelies. Outlandish Creations. I didn't
Naked
know...
Bottom Chef,
Look,
says Suke.
Outlandish Creations is on YouTube.
Yeah.
Is it you?
Yeah,
is
we
that
know
you?
that.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just checking it is. I mean, anyone can set up an account.
Outlandish
in any name.
Creations is where we
Made
get
this.
these devilish cups.
Yes.
And mugs.
Where's my fart gurgle? That's a good one, Outlandish Creations.
Fart gurgle.
Oh, my battery's about to
Our
go.
friend in Chiswick would like that, fart gurgle.
Oh, my battery's about to go. Anyway, we're going to scoot.
Love you.
Lots of love, guys. Have a lovely day. Bye. Bye.